All right. Time to do another one. Okay, let's go. Okay. Hey, good morning, Michal. How's it going? Good morning, Alex Lazar and Mila and Mobo Art. Oh, everyone is arriving. Wonderful. Okay, let's not do that. Okay, that's more interesting. Let's do that. I started seeing ahead, but I just felt like it's without like a character, it would just be a rendering thing. So now I kind of switched it up, and now I'm seeing something else. So it's still going to be similar-ish, but definitely a bit different and more interesting than what I started with. I felt like I had to intervene there, or it would have ended up quite generic, not interesting. Hey, Michal, and everyone else. Andy Nolan, how's it going? Vad är det Hugo jag ritar nu? Okay. So the theme, what I think I'm gonna go with is a futuristic kind of stalker type character, like Shifty. That's at least what kind of I'm seeing. Some shifty guy, kind of looking over the shoulder backwards, or I don't know, just some shifty type thing. So we'll see what the end product will be. Oijinsta. That sounds very complicated to say. Is it an actual name, or is it just a nickname? And if it's an actual name, where is that name from? It's an interesting name if that is a name. Hey, Marius, my cat, he's fine. She's fine. The little princess, she's sleeping always during the day. All right, keyboard, keyboard puke. That's fine. You never know about these nicknames or internet handles. You know, like who's is actually using their name, or is it just a Star Killer 57? You know, who knows, right? I want to start trying to kind of introduce colors, but it has to be done in a specific way where I'm digging it. I'm already feeling that introducing a second color might kind of steer the sketching process away from the fun it is. Could be then due to my knowledge, like what I need to learn in order to sketch with colors more freely, like I do with just plain one single light source or temperature. Um, so that's something I gotta think about. Like top of my head, it's mostly probably due to lack of knowledge, or like not knowledge, but what's it called? Confidence. I think the biggest thing is just I need to find a structure in the approach, because I have the knowledge about color. It's just about like how to implement it, right? Yeah, maybe this is Star Killer 57 that I'm drawing. I know that was in the news many years ago. I think it was in Sweden. They wanted to name their child Adolf Hitler, and they weren't allowed. Uh, but some other names you were allowed. Like, I don't remember if you were allowed to name your child Rambo, but it was like an article about names that you are allowed and not allowed to name your children. And these parents, they wanted him to be called Adolf Hitler, and kind of tried to go to court with it and stuff. I don't really remember the outcome, but I think it was that they're not allowed to. Um, one second. Yeah, my kid's playing with Lego. But I'm kind of digging introducing a second color here. It adds to the concept. Well, yeah, definitely. I think it's not really about like confidence or lack of knowledge. I think it's just I've been tackling my approach in a very specific way for many years, and I'm very stuck in the process. Um, and that's why I think doing these warm-ups is really helping me kind of remove some of the cobweb and make me play around with the process. I mean, if you look back at all my other warm-ups, especially in the beginning, I was experimenting a lot with different approaches and testing, you know, like line art only and things like that. And, I think I found a fun way to sketch, which is activating my brain in a specific way, which I've lost for many years. Like I have done a lot of line art heavy design work for many years, and of course painting on top, but the initial start has always been sketching in line art, designing in line art, and I found that this way is allowing me to think differently, which is a lot of fun. which is not always the case when sketching your personal art. Um, it's easy to become like some sort of benchmark you need to hit, and in this way, it's just fun to explore. Hey, Scary. Good morning. I can put on the Jamaican music if you want. No problem with me. It's just I think they're gonna mute portions of this stream, but it will be full audio on YouTube regardless. I miss the reggae. The reggae is good. Hey, Laughing Skulls, morning. Michal, yeah, definitely. Like the evolution is looking back. It's an interesting one. It's not like that. It's just explorations, like I talked about yesterday. Like allowing myself to fail. You know, it's a really important part of being a creative person is to experiment and fail doing things like that, where you're in a safe place where it doesn't matter if you fail. You know, you have to be able to test things and explore and move forward, regardless if it's an already a topic or a process that you're very familiar with. Uh, like take the example of Photoshop, right? Photoshop, you know Photoshop inside out, but all of a sudden you switch one approach and you're relearning the whole thing in a completely different light, you know. I think that's really important thing to remember is that the like strength of going back to basics as well. If you have to go back and study the basics, all of a sudden you're seeing all these new little things in the fundamentals that you haven't seen before because your mindset going in it the first time or the fifth time or the third time is a completely different, and because you pick up new things, and when you go back to the basics you see the basics in a, you know, completely different. Good morning, Eric Moy. You're new. I don't recognize your name, at least. So, soon halfway, I think it's taken an interesting route today, this approach. It's very, I'm just kind of detailing my way down the character. I didn't do that the other warm-ups. So I'm kind of enjoying it, just noodling and growing the design as I'm moving forward. Using this square brush a lot more rather than this kind of Reiki one. Scary, yeah, definitely. I think it's not only getting bad of bad habits, but questioning all your habits and thinking about which one is bad and which one is a good one. You know, like where are you taking the your path? More, not more like what's right and wrong. You know, there's no such thing as right and wrong. It's just based on context. That's my thought. Uh, let's either add an arm there, maybe holding a knife, or would that be? I think that would help the picture actually. Let's go with that. Help to direct the eye, and I could put. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Good job, Bjorn. I could put like a shine from the offside. That works. That works. And I could play with that part. Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for showing interest and support. I think this is more sci-fi, definitely. Dirty sci-fi-esque. I'm just seeing him as kind of piecemeal, kind of improvised, patchy armor. Or equipment, I don't know if it's of any. Let's see, how's that hat? Needs to be a little bit more. Wait. Reverse grip, so, alright. I had to think of it for a second there. So halfway, more or less. It's not too bad. It's an interesting sketch today. It does. It does. It definitely reminds of it. I think it's the blue. I think if I would do that, then it would definitely be Isaac's suit. So let's remove it from that space then. That space. Oh, that space. Let's make it a little bit maybe more alien-like. If my use of color now is a level up, no, it's a step I wanted to take. I had just been a bit tentative taking it, because for me, I'm very methodical in my mindset, and I want to kind of figure out the process a little bit, because this is still just very exploratory. I don't know really this process, and I want to add color into the process. I just need to make sure that I'm experimenting with it, and but first rationalizing it a little bit. I don't want to throw colors into the mix yet. I feel like it can wait. I'm in no rush. I'm happily exploring. Eric, this is an A4 preset, more or less. So 3000 times 4000 DPI, I think. Pixel resolution. Probably 150 DPI, if that makes of any importance. I don't think it does. I don't, as you probably noticed, I don't zoom regardless. I don't spend any time zooming in on my pieces, so the resolution doesn't really matter, as these are just completely for just sketching. You know, there's no point in doing anything else with them. But it's good stuff. I enjoy. I'm enjoying the process. Yeah, I mean, I do want to start adding colors. That's definitely. But it has to be, for me, rationalized a little bit more before I add it. But you see, I'm adding a second color just to see like how I can keep the dynamics of sketching without having to add color theory and spend time thinking about what material is this, how should it reflect light, and so on. Here I can just make it a lot more easier by just thinking one-dimensionally, in the sense of I don't need to question the materials or color and local colors and light and all these things. It's a lot more straightforward and just fun, because I only have 30 minutes. But I touched upon this issue on a previous stream when I think on the Sci-Fi Wizard, the first one, that I wanted glowing parts in the body, and because everything was just in one color, I couldn't define what was light and what was like internal light from inside the design. So obviously it's an issue for sketching more advanced sketches or setups with light, as in, you know, that now we can clearly see that it's shining blue from inside his suit. But if it would be orange, we wouldn't really see it as clearly, right? So now we can clearly see it, and obviously that is an important part in picture making, to communicate something. So there's an obvious part here that obviously I need, obviously, using that word way too much. That it's the process needs to be advanced as it moved forward, and time to start experimenting by adding colors and so on. Also, I think tomorrow I'm going to set a challenge of myself of painting on a white canvas and painting the shadows. I think that's going to be my next one. I want to see what that challenge is for me, like uh, to face, you know, like because now I've done a lot of sketching with light, right? But I want to see what can I do with white canvas and painting shadows rather than the light. I mean, it's not alien to me. I've done it before, but not with this mindset and not in this specific way. I haven't done it at least that much, so I think it'll be a cool challenge tomorrow to see where I can take it and how challenging it will be, and what things do I need to change in my approach and in my mentality and things like that to make it work, you know, work as in make it a good picture and a good design, so it's just not vomit. Yeah, yeah, Michal, definitely. I feel like I want to zoom into that eye and detail like all these little juicy details, but I won't. I will not. I will stay strong. Don't need to. Hey! Okej. Du kan ha dörren öppen om du vill. Du bara höll på att kasta så mycket lego. Okej, om den har öppet. Okay. My son came in and asked some questions. Some suggestion of legs, perhaps. So there's 2 minutes left. It's pretty good. I mean, I'm happy with what I produced today. Makes me think about this character. You know, it's a good thing. You know, I like the test of adding a secondary color. I mean, in this instance, it worked. I think like adding full local colors might be a step too far, because then you're starting to define the material more and more. But simple tricks like adding a secondary color to separate things in sense of light or design, I think it is a good thing to add to the design. I think that's have to be a step that I will try to introduce. That, let's say, when I'm defining the forms, and then when I'm starting to design after like the main masses, I have to start thinking about design-wise, where can I add a secondary color or light to help translate the design for sketching in this process. I think that's something I have to play around with mentally to see kind of like where it will go. I mean, if you're gonna start thinking about like color theory and materials and reflectivity and all sorts of things, like the rendering process becomes a lot more advanced, and I think I would produce less due to it, that because the complexity is increased, right? And at the moment now, I can suggest a lot more details, um, especially like without reference and mood boards and all these things. It's now completely made up. Um, so I don't know, but I want to get there at some point where I can just use full blast on color. The thing is, Michael, is I don't want to plan anything before I sit down and draw. I never do. So far, I've just completely just making it up as I go along, and I don't want to sit and kind of pre-produce stuff. I don't even want to give it a fleeting thought about the theme, right? I just want to sit down and watch TV in the sense of I don't know what's going to come out. All right, that's it, people. Time's up. Time for me to stop the stream and get on with my day job. Thank you all very much for coming. It was great having you and talking to you, and for mood and general, great that you guys are here. And Maxi, we'll meet again. Unfortunately, it's the end of the stream. Yeah, well, it's fun today. Thanks all for coming, and good luck with whatever you gotta do today. And see you tomorrow morning. Bye all.